We're going to practice the parachute technique for creating an anastomosis, useful for suturing down the heel of the anastomosis, particularly when the ability to visualize the anastomosis is limited. So we start with a U-stitch here on the far side of the recipient vessel. And we have, or what we'll call the graft, coming down here. This technique, if you do it this way, allows the surgeon to forehand both on the end, if you will, and the side. So through the side of that vessel, we're sewing this vessel down end to side. So the surgeon continues forehand towards himself, and the assistant keeps the suture out of the surgeon's way. And you'll see in a little bit how critical that is. If the suture gets crossed, then it will cross through the anastomosis, and the anastomosis will leak. So it cannot be allowed to cross. The sutures have to be straight there and uncrossed. It will also, crossing the suture will also make it much more difficult to pull this down tight at the end. And you'll see that it already is somewhat challenging to do that, particularly when you're putting in as many stitches as we are here. But we're putting in the stitches to demonstrate the technique. These stitches could be potentially a little further apart to get around the heel here nicely. Now, the active participant of the first assistant is critical, as you can see, to keep these stitches from getting fouled. And you'll see here now the suture is crossed over. The suture is actually at risk of catching the needle driver and trapping the needle driver. Now the surgeon avoids that. But just to make things interesting, our assistant drops the suture, and the surgeon avoids the problem, but you can see how easy that would be. Now pulling this down, you pull at both ends at once, as well as pull the vessel up to get all the play out of the suture, so that our heel of the anastomosis can be down tight and be watertight and sealed.